I agree. I agree. Last night was a day where look at I'm a big schedule release guy for two reasons. One, the videos. Two, the actual okay, there's some context to go off of how good this team can actually be because on paper means nothing if you play the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Philadelphia Eagles within like 3.5 days. It just doesn't equal your favor of anything. The Pittsburgh Steelers schedule comes out. I mean, it just in the grand scheme of things, I think decently impressive. Nothing super terrible. We're diving into it real quick here on just real quick. I shouldn't even say real quick. We're diving into it here. It starts in New York against the Jets, a game that, I mean, everybody is talking about as this is the hint of Aaron Rodgers. He is coming to Pittsburgh. We are all well aware that he is now on his way to the Pittsburgh Steelers because of it. Round 2 comes in week 2 against the Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots. Well, a trip to Boston never hurt anybody, and Mike Vrabel gets his shot. After that, the Pittsburgh Steelers go to Dublin. We knew that one. The bye weeks after that, we'll dive into that in a second. Then it's Cleveland in Cincy, home against Green Bay with a possible second revenge game for Aaron Rodgers. Indianapolis on the road in LA, back home against Cincinnati, the Windy City. Then it's a stretch. Buffalo, Baltimore, Miami, Detroit, Cleveland, and finishing it off in Baltimore. Your just first outlook, how you view the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule after it's been released.
I feel a little bit better. I think I was getting close to being more worried than optimistic about this season with just how things have been going the past couple of weeks. But seeing the schedule, like you've already mentioned, seeing that it is not such a battle, drag them out fight for the last, 6-7 weeks of the season is really encouraging. So, first overall thoughts are it's going to be tough to get more than 10, 11, 12 wins. Something like that would be a huge high watermark here, but I also see them winning more than getting to that 9-win mark again with this schedule. So nothing too out of the ordinary to make me suggest or think that it's going to go crazy into a losing season in Pittsburgh this year.
I agree. I look at this and say the Pittsburgh Steelers have the ebbs and flows of a season that everybody's looking for. Nothing is totally stacked against them. That last stretch is brutal, and we're going to dive into that here in a little bit. But you're looking at it going, this is, you could beat Seattle. You can beat New York. You can beat New England. You can beat Cleveland and Cincy and potentially Green Bay, Indianapolis, the Chargers you beat last year. Like, Chicago, there are winnable games on the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule, enough of them to feel pretty confident about what the Pittsburgh Steelers can do this season. And again, the schedule is the first time that you look at it and go, okay, this is in a place we can look at this and say the Steelers actually have a shot, because before that, you're just taking a guess and finishing every prediction with, well, we'll see when the schedule comes out. The big question, Week 1, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields in that one. I mean, the NFL said today, I was on the conference call, no, had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers, but if Aaron Rodgers does end up in Pittsburgh, all the better to the NFL, obviously. I mean, can it get any more blatantly obvious than this, that everybody feels pretty confident Aaron Rodgers is coming to Pittsburgh? I kind of have a devil's advocate, but I want to ask you first.
Well, my immediate thoughts on the response from the league about the scheduling ifs and questions and things like that is just the marketing PR spin ability of the NFL should be studied for ages, because the fact that they can put out the Steelers schedule and say exactly what you just quoted off and pass it off as a real answer, as if it's not just them winking and nudging at what's to come, is just incredible. So, hats off to the NFL. I love the ability for the league, Coach Tomlin, all the way down, for their ability to just BS directly to people's faces. But it's really quite impressive. That's my biggest takeaway right now.
It is very quiet. It is very impressive. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. have pretty much told us to our faces that Aaron Rodgers is going to come at some point. I mean, Art Rooney said, "Yep, feels like it's yes." So, well, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. That's just the sentiment we've gotten here. To be honest, though, like I want it to be Aaron Rodgers versus the Jets because that keeps eyes on Justin Fields versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll ask this question to you. You look at the Jets game, you look at everything that comes with Aaron Rodgers side of it. There's the Justin Fields side of it. If Justin Fields walks into or welcomes the Pittsburgh Steelers and wins, what does it say? What does it say?
I think the Steelers immediately look the fool. I think they already are in jeopardy of looking like that in multiple ways. They're kind of leaving it all out there like it's a boom or bust situation. So I think if they go into New York, get beat the guy that they offered a contract to, but couldn't provide a worthy opportunity for him to stay, and they lose to him, you look like the fool for sure. So it would be really tough, especially if Aaron Rodgers is a starting quarterback. I'll couch it by saying if Mason Rudolph is the starter or Will Howard, you go in there and lose, then you're kind of like, all right, it's an adjustment period. The Steelers are learning with this offense and quarterback situation. But, if it's Rodgers under center, that is an embarrassing opening week loss.
Dude, it's as bad as it possibly gets. If Aaron Rodgers is the Steelers quarterback, you can go 1-16 or 1-17, but the one has to come with a very dominating win over the Jets. It can't even be close. If it's remotely close, and to be honest with you, if you lose, that's huge. But if Aaron Rodgers plays terrible and Justin Fields plays great, the Steelers look just as bad. Like they're looking here going, all right, well, imagine how good we could be with Justin Fields. And there is a loud crowd of people who would love Justin Fields to be the Steelers starting quarterback this season. With that, I'm not a Jets believer where we sit right now. I'm not somebody who thinks that it's that big of a deal, to be very honest with you. But I do think that if it did, God forbid, happen, it would look brutal. The second question, go ahead. You got thoughts?
I just think, well, first I was, something I was working on earlier today was looking at the Jets' recent video from a couple of days ago, and Justin Fields was talking about Aaron Glenn. And it just really struck me just like how confident he is in his new head coach. And it's like, I know it's like you're supporting your new team and you're going in there trying to set a good example and make the best impression possible with your new organization. But I'm just curious if there's an extra vendetta. The revenge game we're talking about right now is Rodgers against the Jets. What if it's like a Justin Fields revenge game and we're walking into a trap? That would be just crazy. That's my final thought on that.
That's the ultimate trap game on the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule. We'll start it's the ultimate to start 0-1 in an absolutely brutal way to lose is the trap game of the schedule for the Pittsburgh Steelers.